Monday morning. It is 9 o'clock and here we are bright and early, ready for the morning sales step up. That's right. This is 10 to 15 minutes with me and Pirate Pete to get you excited about hitting the phones or starting those conversations or having those face-to-face meetings or even being on Zoom all day. Whatever it is, if you're in sales, then this is the place for you, because today I'm going to be sharing some hints, tips and inspiration all about money. And I think this is a really important one because actually we all get that, where we're getting that objection about money. And actually the one that we're going to tackle today particularly is it's too expensive, which I think is a really big one, because actually that particular objection really can make us run away. So if you don't know me, my name is Victoria Fleming. I am super excited to be here this morning, rocking the sales look, and we are going to be doing this every morning through lockdown at 9 a.m. So if you enjoy this session, hit the follow button on me and you will see anything else that I go live with every morning at 9. And if you're here watching, then let me know in the comments. I can only see you if you say hello, so do say hello and let me know. What do you think? All right, so here we go, 10 minutes. As you know, we're going to keep it tight. So Pirate Pete is going to time us down with 10 minutes. Here we go. And when the timer stops, we stop. All right, so the price objection that I want to talk about today is it's too expensive. And I think it's one of those ones where actually what happens with it's too expensive is we can get a bit British. So especially if you're from the UK, as soon as we hear that, that can be one of those things that makes us feel a bit difficult inside, because we feel like we've done a bad thing by potentially asking people for more money than they've got. Oh, a big hello, Rachel. Thank you so much for saying hello. Oh, I'm so pleased to be here and to have a friend. So yes, thank you. So yeah, it's too expensive is a really difficult one, because like we get really freaked out about it. And we don't always know how to handle it because it's a judgment call. Someone is giving us a judgment and we don't know how to deal with that. So the first thing that we need to think about is if someone says it's too expensive, then actually it's not necessarily that the item is too expensive. It's just that we need to do a little bit more work to understand what's going on and to have a proper conversation around that. So let's look at how we can do that. So the first thing is, if someone says it's too expensive, they are making a comparison. So they are likely to be comparing what we've suggested to them with their previous experience. They are comparing us with a price from another supplier. They are comparing us to what they've got in their pocket, their actual budget. They are comparing us to whatever they have done before. Hi, Alison. Great to see you there as well. And overall, it can quite often mean that they haven't seen the value. All right. So these are some key things that are going on there. All right, so the first thing that we need to do is we need to be aware that it could be any of those things and we don't actually know. So we need to not run away. So my first tip is, if someone says it's too expensive, is don't run away, okay? And equally, don't accept it. What we're going to do is we are going to try and find out which one of those 4 or 5 things it actually is that's putting this person up. Hello, hello. I've got a LinkedIn user. I don't know your name, but hello. Thanks for joining us. Right. So what I would suggest is a couple of great questions you can ask. And one of the ones that I always like to ask is, oh, okay, so if you say it's too expensive, what is it exactly that you're comparing that to? And that can be quite nice because they'll give you the comparison point. And at that point in time, you go, right, I understand. Yeah, there will be a difference on that because. So that's a great intro. Another thing that you could say is, oh, okay, what is it that makes you say that? Again, that's just giving them, it's a nice open question, but what it is it's asking for more information. It's saying, tell me what is actually going on here. Tell me the insight on this. It could be, you could even say, oh, okay, what sort of figure were you expecting? And again, you're going to find out more information. So the hot tip is here, if someone says it's too expensive, don't run away. Ask a question to find out more, because based on what they then tell you, you will then find out actually what the objection is. Is the objection that they've got a quote from someone else that's a lot cheaper? Is it that they haven't actually got the budget for that? So on and so forth. And then you can handle the actual objection, because the actual objection is that there's somebody else who's quoted that is charging less. The objection is that last time they did this 3 years ago, it was half the price, so they feel uncomfortable about that. The objection is they've got £100 in their budget and the item that you're suggesting for them is £300. That's cool, but at least then you can start to deal with it, because how are you going to deal with those things? It's going to be different. The key thing is, though, here, quite often people will say it's too expensive when they're making that comparison and they can't see the difference in the value that you're offering. So, for example, if they've got another price of a competitor, then they might be saying, well, actually, we've had another quote that's significantly cheaper. Then that's great. So what they're actually saying there is they've gone to somebody else, and at that point in time, they're comparing that to you. That's great information for you now, because now you can start to say, oh, fantastic. Well, just to make sure that, we're pricing on, costing out on the same things, can you give me an idea as to what that quote included? And that can be really helpful to you, because all of a sudden you can go, all right, okay, so what isn't included there is X, Y, Z, which I am including, because I feel that is an important part of delivering the outcome that you're looking for. Or alternatively, you could say, so if actually you don't want those things, I can actually give you a quote just for those things, which you'll find will be more comparable. But all of a sudden now you're getting the opportunity to almost defend your price, to show them where that's come from. Because let's be honest, we didn't just make it up. We didn't just go, how much shall that be? Oh, it'll be this amount of money. We didn't do that, did we? We came up with this from a really good place with a really good reason. Do you get this objection? Tell me in the comments. Do you get this objection? How do you handle it? So that's a great starting point with this. The other thing is that it gives you the opportunity to reframe. So sometimes they'll be comparing you to something which really isn't a good comparison. So for example, when I'm talking about sales training, sometimes people start to compare me to maybe like an online IT training course, which is very different. So at that point in time, I say, right, okay, let me explain. There is a difference in price. And the reason for that is ding, 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 ding. And at that point in time, I get all the opportunity that I need to actually restate the value, which is brilliant, because actually what it's allowing me to do is say, look, this is why this is fantastic and you should totally do it. So you're getting that extra bite of the cherry, which you don't get if you run away when they say it's too expensive. So the trick here is follow-up questions, actually get to the bottom of it, and then start to handle it. Now, one of the other ones that you'll commonly come out with at this point in time is people will say, well, it's not actually, we don't actually have budget for that, or, it's more than we were expecting in our budget. That's great. At which point in time, I would then be asking some extra questions about their budget. Okay, so how much do you have in your budget for this? Okay, where, so are you still looking for the outcome that we discussed? You are. All right, so let's see what we can deliver within that budget. So there's always an option like that. And out of interest, while we're talking about budget, for me, I never ask people up front what their budget is. I never do. And the reason is that, we quite often spend money that we don't have in our budgets. Okay, just to be really clear, the last time I went out and spent a ridiculous amount of money on really cool shoes, did I have a shoe budget for a ridiculous amount of money for really cool shoes? No, of course I didn't. So if you'd asked me that morning and said, what's your budget for ridiculously expensive, really cool shoes? I would have said 0. But then I went and saw the amazing shoes. I saw they go with loads of my clothes. I saw that they were fantastic. They lit up. They made me really happy. And all those points of value meant that actually, guess what? I found the budget, I found the money. And that's so often the way, especially if you're introducing a brand new product or service into an organization, they might not have a budget for it because it might not have been something they're anticipating doing until they've recognized that they have a challenge and that you are the solution. So sometimes asking that question isn't great up front, but when you do get to a price objection, that's the time you can start to investigate. And I think that the other thing that you can start to ask around that, well, currently, how are you trying to solve this problem? And quite often what I find is that people are solving that problem in different ways. So actually the money is there, it's just in different parts of the budget. So you see, it's not too expensive. You can handle that objection. The trick is just to keep pushing. Pirate Pete has been super generous to us today, but I know he's just about to go out because he just made a little semi-buzz to me. So last thing for the day, what are you going to do today to make yourself accountable and to step up your sales? It's a Monday morning. It's bright. It's early. We're all just about to hit our desks. If you want to make yourselves accountable for anything, then put it in the comments. I told you it was just about to go. Then put it on the comments and I will follow up with you tomorrow and check that you've done what you said you've got to do. So if that is to make 3 calls, if that is to have 2 sales meetings, if that is to do a product demo, whatever it is, what are you going to do to move your sales forward today? What are you going to commit to? What are you going to commit to myself and Pirate Pete to actually do today to move your sales forward? Today, this has been fantastic. Thank you so much for joining me, Rachel, Alison, and LinkedIn user. We love you. It would be amazing if you would join me again tomorrow at 9 o'clock. Tomorrow, I am talking about what to do when they say, send me an email. Because there's nothing worse. You know you're going to send that email and never hear from them again. So tune in tomorrow at 9 when I'm going to be telling you exactly what you need to do with that. And to make sure that you get a reminder when I go live next, if you just make sure that you're following me, then next time you're on LinkedIn and I'm here, I will be popping up on your screen and I will be here at 9 o'clock tomorrow. So thanks from myself and Pirate Pete. It's been great to see you today and we will see you at 9 o'clock tomorrow. Bye.